It's that time of the week again where we have some news for you. We're going to be talking about some PSVR2 related stuff, some new games, and of course some interesting bits and bobs going on within the VR industry. Now to dive right into it, we have a couple of awesome games that are coming this week, and of course we have one that's already dropped earlier this week that I've already covered, which is Creed Rise to Glory. This game was freaking dope. I really enjoyed myself, and you know, it's out again on another platform, but nonetheless this one I think is probably the definitive way to play this, at least for me, with the haptics and everything else going on inside of it. But that's not all we have this week. We also have Gambit dropping. Now Gambit is a 4-player co-op game or a solo co-op, completely up to you how you want to play. If you have a bunch of mates that you want to get in with, well then this one's going to be for you. Imagine essentially After the Fall, but mixed in with a ridiculously funny sense of humour and, you know, pretty, you know, risque sense of humour, mixed in with a bit of Hotline Miami sort of feel to it, and you have yourselves Gambit. This game's looking pretty dope. I will have coverage coming out of this because it is coming out this Thursday, so definitely keep your eye on the channel as I have a video covering it, and it's a good one. Also, we have Across the Valley coming out this week as well, and well, this is a very chill sort of, you know, Stardew Valley-esque kind of game, getting in there, farming, growing up your farm and your homestead, and making it as cool as you possibly can whilst collecting a bunch of stuff. Now, is this for me? Not personally, but I still think this has a place on the VR platform, as I know a lot of people are looking forward to having something very chill to play, so nonetheless, this is definitely one of those games to keep your eyes on if you're into that type of gaming. For me, I prefer to shoot things without tomatoes. Or tomatoes, depending how you say it. We also have Everslaught dropping this month for the Quest platform. I'm very excited about this. I am a little nervous because one of the things that made this game incredible on PC was, well, it was graphics. It looked freaking phenomenal. This is like the ultimate Doom experience. If you've ever wanted to play something very Doom-esque in VR and were very disappointed by Doom VFR, well, then that's probably the game that you want to go check it out. Now, it's coming to Quest, and the reason it's coming to Quest is because, well, that's where sales are, and also the fact that it's going to be a duo game, so you can play you and a friend getting in and slaying a bunch of deads and having a good time doing it. Now, the interesting thing to me is, will the graphical fidelity affect the gameplay, and how will it affect it? I don't know. I am purely just guessing at this point because honestly I haven't played it, but I just hope that that won't be a factor that will affect it. Now I know I'm going to get a lot of questers in the thingy going, the thing is the graphics, blah, blah, blah. I know. Listen, I love my quest just as much as you before you start typing out angry messages at me, but nonetheless I have come to a place in life where I look forward to seeing things looking as beautiful as humanly possible, which is something that the PSVR2's really brought me off the back of real PC VR really kind of being a bit dead at the moment. So yeah, let's just hope it's going to be freaking dope. I would also really love to see this come with its full graphic fidelity to PC VR or maybe PSVR 2 later down the line as well. That would be freaking dope. But anyway, that's coming your way this month and I'm excited for it. Next up we have Eye of the Temple coming out as well pretty soon. This game is really dope, man. It got completely missed when it dropped for PC VR. As I said a second ago, PC VR is kind of dead at the moment. We do have a couple of awesome titles like Vertigo 2 and other things that have come out for it recently. But bar the modding scene, PCVR has kind of been super duper quiet because honestly I don't blame developers. There's not a lot of money to be made there, so why would they develop there when they can make money on like PSVR 2, Quest, Pico, any of the other sort of headsets around that are actually making sales. So of course this has knock-on effects for stuff like that. Unfortunately, Eye of the Temple just didn't get seen the way that it was supposed to, as it is actually a really cool game. I've played it myself. Freaking awesome, and now it's coming to Quest, so I hope this is going to get the sort of life that it should have and it does deserve for being such an awesome game. If you're unaware of what it is, essentially you go in like Indiana Jones, son, except for you are using your actual room and play space to move around in, and the game maps around that perfectly so that you get to feel like you're actually moving around in a game. It's really cool, very cool concept, incredibly hard to film unless you're in mixed reality as a VR YouTuber. Take it from me, and all in all it's a very dope experience. So definitely be checking this one out once it drops. I'll have more news on this when I actually get a date through for this thing, so keep your eye on the channel. Next up we have news for VR Chat. VR Chat is coming to mobile. I mean, Okay, fair enough. I thought the part of VR chat that made VR chat was the VR part, but nonetheless, I do understand that not everyone has a VR headset, and this is a very good way of getting figures up and getting more people inside of the headset. Is this going to end up like a Rec Room situation? Because with Rec Room, you can play on virtually anything now. Like if you grab a potato from your kitchen and literally plug an Ethernet cable into the back of it, you can play Rec Room, and it's kind of incredible. So maybe VR chat is going to turn out to be the same way where it comes to all devices, and honestly, to be fair to them, I don't blame them for this choice. It's going to get a lot more people in there. But is it going to detract from the experience when you're in there virtually and you're being met by a, T-posing avatar? I don't know. I don't know is the honest answer. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. Like, will this make a difference to how you use VR chat? Personally, I don't really use it a lot anyway, so it doesn't particularly affect me, but I do know that there is a huge community of people out there that absolutely love socializing in VR chat. I wonder if this will affect that at all. Does it mean we're going to get a lot more squeakers in there? Maybe. Who knows? Next up, this is going to affect a very small fraction of us because I think there might only be about 2,000 of these in the world, but no worries, I will still explain anyway. The Quest Pro is getting local dimming, which means essentially now it's turning off the little LEDs inside of there that aren't being used, so it looks like a true black. Now, from what I've seen from this, it does look very impressive, but nonetheless, there's so few people that actually own a Quest Pro, I don't think it's going to really hit that hard. I mean, maybe this is the kind of technology that's going to be useful once a Quest 3 comes out and a wider audience are actually using it. But as we all kind of know at this point, the Quest Pro did not sell very well. It's way too expensive, and it's sort of, it's just a Quest 2 still, but in a new package that's slightly more uncomfortable, less customizable, and why would you do that to yourself? I don't know. Now we get into the meats and or potatoes of this video, which is the negative news surrounding the bloody PSVR2. Now listen, I like my PSVR2. I've been very open about that, even with the weird amount of hate that's sort of come its way. I love my PSVR2, man. As much as I love all VR headsets and have supported all VR headsets the entire of my career doing this. And yeah, I love this thing. But nonetheless, of course, we must get some negativity around virtual reality, as it's the only thing that sells articles, apparently. Now, Bloomberg has written an article saying about that we're not selling enough PSVR 2s. So predictions that they were stating is that Sony had announced that they expected to sell 2 million headsets within the first month. I don't think anyone was making those figures, and it's kind of a ridiculous thing to even think that that would have happened, as that would be the biggest figures that we've ever seen in virtual reality. But anyway, rest assured, they still sold just under 300,000 units. Now, that to me is a huge success for a few reasons I want to dive into, and then I want to break this down a little bit on my opinions on the situation. If you can't tell, I'm not on the same side as Bloomberg. But anyway, so they've sold around just under 300,000 units, and that's good. We are 5 weeks into the release of the PSVR 2, which is not a great deal of time in the world of tech, and you can't even buy this thing in a brick and mortar store yet. It's still only available to purchase via PlayStation on their website, where you go on and then you can do that. So I don't understand truly why it is that they think that they would have sold 2 million units of this. It just seems to me like more negative press for the sake of getting clicks. Honestly, articles like this are perfectly designed to make everyone talk about it. Now, I'm guilty of this right now because now I've spoken about it, but nonetheless, I kind of wanted to address this because it may be the last time that I entertain any of this foolishness, and I feel like we should all do the same thing with this. If you are seeing an article that is purely designed for shock and awe, don't share it. Talk about it, that's fine, but do not share the name of where it came from, do not share links to where it came from, because all they are doing is writing that article to make people go over there, go to the article, and then of course what happens, you get fed ads and they make money. So writing a negative article like this and taking a dig at a community they know is very passionate, like VR enthusiasts, well, they know people are going to go visit there to read it and then talk about it, slate it, share it. It's just a good way of making good money. So that's why they do that, and honestly it's pretty silly. Now for my opinion on the whole situation, if you're not up to date on how I feel by this point already. this is ridiculous. Honestly, the sales are on par with really doing pretty freaking well, to be honest with you. Like, the best part of 300,000 units out there in the wild in a 5-week period where they only can order them from PlayStation, this is really good. Now, this has been a very soft launch for the PSVR2. As you may have noticed, there's not been a great deal of media out there about this thing, other than the basics just to get it going. Now, this is going to happen for a couple of reasons, right? They are going to do this, and then they're going to have a big push once they have the catalog games to push it. So give it a couple of months, let the games roll in. Once they have that back catalog and they have a couple more big hitters on this list, then they push it. When it comes up to Christmas, I'm sure that it'll be it'll be into shops, so you can just go in and buy one. And that is the most important aspect of this whole thing. Listen, this kind of purchase is the kind of thing that you do when you see it in a store or see a demo of it in a store, and then you go, damn dude, I need to own that. Buy. But if you're seeing a £550 purchase on a website, it's just a little less enticing, let's be real. So that's the definitive factor here. Once this gets into main stores, once it gets the catalogue of games, this headset will start to sell again. There's also lower amounts of PS5s out than there were of PS4s back when it's actually like the PS1 dropped. Even though people are attacking me recently for saying PSVR1, it's okay. That's just how I'm referring to it. It's alright. But yeah, this is kind of one of those ones where I feel like it's just got blown way out of proportion. Pretty silly, pretty ridiculous, and straight up stupid. But hey, that's just my opinion. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, smash like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.